What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my favorite core breaker in the Great League Remix Cup, Toxicroak, able to break apart those pesky grass Carbink cores. This whole team beats Carbink too, by the way. This is great. And I'm doing what everyone else is doing, just to play 3 things that beat Carbink, right? So, Alolan Sandslash in the lead, my favorite, and honestly the best lead in this cup, in my opinion. We've got Cresselia on the save swap to take care of the weakness to fighting. And let's jump straight into these battles, because we're packing Future Sight, and y'all know you're expecting some, at least one-shot some stuff. So, because I love running Future Sight on my Crest, everyone expects you to run Moonblast, so when you hit like a Poison type or something that's weak to Psychic, nobody ever expects it, right? But if you're looking to change out the... and we also hit a Carbink on this game, too, which is great. And I had to show it off this way because you got to see that this team, this is how Carbink does, right? This whole team has to play against Carbink, so you're really going to look to try and figure out the rest of your matchups, right? Opponent save swaps in Carbink. They've got a Golbat in the lead. They're probably trying to draw out my fighter. They're trying to draw out something that beats, something that's weak to fighting in the back. So we're able to take it out. Anyway, getting derailed already, man. Substitutions. If you want to, you can take Toxicroak out for Buzzwole. It's not quite as effective at its role as using Ground Mud Bomb, but it does get rid of the ABA weakness. And by the way, let's just offer a nice honorary to that poor Golbat who just got one shot just about by that Future Sight. That's why we run that. And they got a Vigor off in the back. So saving Toxicroak wins us the game here. This is pretty much a good game to my opponent. They're going to have to either quit or just let it play out either way. But Cresselia's packing Future Sight because people don't expect it, and it wins games, right? So we're also going to have, if you want, you can use like Bubble Jellicent. This is something that I've been using lately. I have actually been using the Sandslash Buzzwole Jellicent version of the team, which has also done really well for me. So I think that any way you slice this team, it still has really good play. It's just the core of Sandslash, Fighter, Anti-Fighter, and then just something that's really safe in the back that has play. Preferably has play against like Mandibuzz, because I've seen a few more of those, but I digress. Yeah, Cresselia is a little bit less safe when you factor Mandibuzz into the equation, but we get one shot on the Charizard who thought it was safe to come in against this Cresselia, and the opponent does not know what to do. So they come in with a Drapion. That's probably what they should have come in with in the first place. But all's well, it's, you usually expect, most Cresselias are running not running Future Sight. So you usually would expect your Charizard to be able to come in, but man, if they build up to the past 7, you got to respect it. So I'm going to let my Cresselia go at this point. I want to try and get to a move here. My opponent CMP ties me, which they are counting very well. But honestly, it doesn't really matter at this point. My Toxicroak aligned to their Drapion, and that's all I really need at this point. Because even if they're running Sludge Bomb, they could be running Aqua Tail. Now, I go to try and catch a move here because my Toxicroak looks very good into their rest of their team. So I'm just going to save the energy, absorb this move in the next on my Sandslash, and then look to just close out the game with Toxicroak. At this point, that's all I'm going to need. So Toxicroak comes in. I am going to go for the Mud Bomb here before they get to another charge move, just in case they want to try and get fancy, throw a move and chip, shield. I don't want to have to mess with that. So now that they're down, no shields, I can safely shield this if I want to. I can also let it go because they're just going to throw an Aqua Tail at me. It's not going to hurt too bad. And then my opponent's Chestnut has really nowhere else to go. So well played to my opponent there. Sandslash into Whimsicott. This is a very strong lead. Any fairy, honestly, does very well into for Sandslash. So my opponent swaps into a Charizard, and I don't really have a safe response here. Cresselia only does super well when it draws out the Charizard, but if you're behind on energy, not so great. My opponent, however, decides they're going to let that go, and that's fine with me because actually Charizard's so flimsy in the Great League that I am actually able to Cycle Cut down from this point after eating a Blast Burn. Now, if I want to, I do have to shield this next move because it is another Blast Burn. So if I want to keep switching all this energy, I do need to do that. Mouth is going faster than my brain. I'm going to throw Future Sight into the Whimsicott, and that's going to do a lot of damage. What I was trying to say is, I need to shield in order to keep the energy and switch advantage that I've got. So I'm looking pretty good here. My Sandslash gets to remain locked up on the Whimsicott. My opponent comes up with a Scrafty, and I swapped in way too soon. I should have waited out my switch timer. I can't really say I was expecting a Scrafty back there, to be completely honest, though. So I'm just glad that I was able to put my Toxicroak in at the time that I needed to before my Sandslash got completely obliterated. But my opponent, essentially, is going to have to either let this go and hope their Whimsicott can finish the game at this point, which, I mean, if I save 2 shields for anything at this point, It'll be my it'll be what's left of my Sand Slash. But my opponent does realize that they're not going to be able to make it. They do have to shield this Mud Bomb and then get Shadow Paw down. At this point, my opponent is unfortunately in the middle of a rock and a hard place and will not be able to come out of it. They see that and they let go of the game, and that's a good game. So let's go into the next one here. We've got Sand Slash on the lead against Cresselia. Another great lead. But here's the tricky thing about Sand Slash. My opponent's staying in. So this is telling me that they have something in the back that is weak to Sand Slash, and I have to be able to keep that in mind as I play this matchup out. Now, my opponent only went to 6 here. That means that they go for the Grass Knot. Doesn't hurt that much. I will let it go, and I'll throw a move into this double to chip it so that I can come in with my Cresselia and try to guarantee that I'm getting a switch advantage that way. I expect them to probably be trying to lure out my Toxicroak with this double. Now, the payback hurts a lot, but thankfully, because of how thick Cresselia is, and I mean, my IVs on Cresselia aren't that great. I literally took the first traded Cresselia that I ever got, and I've just used that ever since. It actually got me my first time hitting Legend by running this exact same sort of moveset in the very first Great League Retro Cup that we had way back in like Season 7. My opponent makes a very smart move here, though. And instead of coming in with the Cresselia to try and play this out, as we said, they were trying to lure out my Toxicroak in order to get my themselves freed up for a Sand Slash sweep. They actually did a very smart thing here, and they just loaded up on energy with the Sand Slash. So even now, the Toxicroak is not in my Toxicroak's not in a very good place. I'm down a shield. My opponent's got a lot of energy, and this Cresselia, while I do wall it, it does do damage, right? And they've got 2 shields. So at this point, they're going to have to start shielding everything. If I get the chance to farm them down and land drill runs, they're going to be in trouble. So at this point, though, I think I'm good. I'm going to no shield. I'm going to try to save my shield for Toxicroak. And here's my plan. I want to get this Cresselia either low enough or take it out with a Mud Bomb. And I just need to make sure that I get there before they get to a move. So Toxicroak has some energy. Come in with the Mud Bomb. I'm expecting them to try and catch here. I make a really stupid mistake. I should have just thrown the Mud Bomb. I realized now in hindsight that they had just switched. So I also... Right, I'm going to pause it. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to pause it because I want to make sure I explain this process of stuff because I'm trying to be a little bit more explanatory about this stuff. So at this point, I expected my opponent, once they got that shield, to quickly swap in their Sand Slash in order to finish off my Toxicroak. So what I did was, anticipating this, I made a gamble. This isn't always going to happen. If I had thrown this Mud Bomb before they had swapped and I'd hit the Cresselia with it, that would have been a problem for me. But instead, I just take the gamble. I go ahead and I throw this Mud Bomb as soon as I see them swapped, and thankfully I'm able to take it out. And then I'm right next to I'm right up to the next Mud Bomb here. Cresselia is going to catch a Mud Bomb in these hands. Toxicroak, kicking butt. Anyway, yeah, I made that a lot more complicated than it really needed to be. So good job, me. But anyway, so we get a really nice lead here. Pidgeot. Now, it's not as nice because I'm not running Powder Snow, but my opponent isn't going to stay in because I'm a Steel type and I completely wall it. So what I like to do here is I get some energy on my Sand Slash. And if I'm running... Blizzard hurts, but not that bad. If I'm running Cresselia, I definitely know that I can just one-shot this thing. So what I'm actually looking to do here is I am actually going to let them hit me with some moves to try and bring me as low as I can, get up to about 100 energy. And I could have let them hit me with another Bomb if I wanted to. But at that point, I was afraid they might like start double shielding and doing some stuff. So we're able to take out that Whiscash with 1 Grass Knot. We've got energy for another move. I'm able to get to this future sight long before Pidgeot can get to another move. So I'm going to load up on extra energy. I want to force a shield, or I want to take a chunk out of this Pidgeot. And we take the chunk with future sight. And now my opponent's going to be forced to throw before I get to another one, unless they want to expend a shield, which is risky for them. But considering that they safe swapped out a Whiscash, I'm expecting them probably to have another Mudboy in the back. So this is going to be very dangerous very quickly if they do. Probably Quagsire. That's been the usual lately. So there it is. There's the Quagsire. So because I have a shield advantage here, I know that the counters plus 1 Mud Bomb or so will probably take out this Quagsire. And because I've still got energy on my Sand Slash, I can just throw that Ice Punch into the Pidgeot when it comes back in, and I'll be able to take it out. Now, Mud Bomb will hit. They're not going to shield it, so I'm going to continue to counter. I still have to shield this, but I could also let my Sand Slash finish it at this point. What I do decide to go ahead and shield because my opponent had a move. I was keeping count of their energy, and I'm going to throw this Mud Bomb, and I'm either going to get the shield or I'm not. They shield. They're going to go ahead and throw this Mud Bomb, and they're going to have to come in with the Pidgeot, which has just about no energy. The Quagsire also energy dry. This is going to be a good game, thankfully. So real quick, take a moment because this whole thing went really fast, but essentially Sand Slash just is a destructive little I don't even know if it's a hedgehog or what it is. But anyway, we hit an Araquanid lead. Oh no, not this game. Okay, well, y'all can see me get destroyed in this game because I don't really know how to deal with an Araquanid lead, to be honest. It core breaks everything on my team, so it just, yeah. So I'm going to struggle through this one quite a bit, so I'll take a minute instead to plug myself, because that's what I do. I'm a shill. But also, if you like the content that I'm making, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like the video. I know that most of my viewers are actually not subscribed to the channel. It's about a 25-75 split, and those of you on the 75% range are not subscribed. So I would appreciate the subscription if you like the content. And anyway, I also offer coaching on Metafy if you're interested in getting some one-on-one live coaching in order to take your game up to the next level. Please check out my Metafy, link in the pinned description and the pinned comment and in the description, as well as they're all up here too as well, all my socials. And I also have a Patreon exclusive Discord where all of my teams and strategies and everything are laid out there for the entire server as soon as they're basically make it from my brain into the Discord. So really awesome place to be, plus the community is amazing. And if you'd like to be a part of that, again, link to that's in the pinned comment and the description. I don't know why that's so hard to say. English is difficult, man. So I'm making a last-minute attempt here. I get both shields with the Sand Slash, and I'm just like, I wonder if I can get a Mud Bomb, get a Mud Bomb off in this thing. They bait me with a Bone Club. They swap out. It's a Toxapex, so I'm like, okay, maybe I have a shot here. But all my opponent really has to do is just save the energy that they've got on their Alolan Marowak and just hit me with Bone Clubs. It really is. And it doesn't look nearly as it's a lot closer than it looked. I was hoping I would live this brine with enough ability to enough HP to farm down, but unfortunately their bulky Toxapex was able to outdo me, and I'm not going to be able to get to a drill run before they take me out, so that's going to be a good game. It was closer than it looked, but I kind of got destroyed, to be honest. So well played to my opponent. They completely destroyed my face. Anyway, hopping into this next game here. We've got a Dugong on the lead. Whole team slaps Dugong as well, so that's also another bonus to this team. Now, they safe swap into Toxicroak, and I'm coming in with Cresselia. Okay, so I'm going to farm up energy. The double super effective Psycho Cuts are ripping through this Toxicroak. They hit me with a Sludge Bomb, and I'm going to go up to just about 100 energy, and I'm going to throw Future Sight. I don't know if Grass Knot KOs from this range, and I'm not going to find out if it doesn't. I'm going to go for the Future Sight, and they shield, which means for me, I can shield this next move, and I can just farm all the way down. And then by doing so, this Dugong is going to have a lot of problems when he comes back in, because I've got just about 2 Grass Knots loaded to throw at it, and they've already got a shield off of me, off of themselves as well. So in order to, I don't know what they have in the back, but I guess it doesn't really want to see a loaded Cresselia, so I'm going to throw Grass Knots, and they're not going to shield this one. I wonder if they shield this next one, because if they don't, the Dugong's going to be getting pretty low, and I've still got a very healthy backline here. Toxicroak comes in and almost gets the snipe, but I draw out their Buzzwole. So, probably good that I swapped here. The reason why I swapped and gave up switch advantage is because that Dugong is so low that it's really not going to have any use anymore. Even my Sand Slash with one Shadow Claw will take it out at this point. So I was trying to draw out whatever they had in the back that didn't want to see Cresselia in the first place, which it makes a lot of sense now because they're running Buzzwole, Toxicroak in the back. But we're going to take them with that Sludge Bomb, getting that good bait, so that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent. We're hitting up this next game here with Sand Slash on the lead versus a Whiscash, so this is a really, really risky situation. But what I tend to do against the Mudboy leads is build up to an Ice Punch, and I'll either try to catch or throw. The thing is that because I only have one answer on this team really to the Mudboys, I will typically just... Oh, here we go. Here's another one. I will typically go for the Ice Punch and then swap out, because my Cresselia, by the way, one-shotting a Dragalge in absolutely marvelous fashion. The Cresselia is the only real tough answer I have, and since it's my safe swap, I'm not going to safe swap in Toxicroak because it's just going to get obliterated by Mud Bomb. So I'm going to hope that I can find energy somewhere else and use it to threaten the Whiscash. My opponent made a very smart decision and did not throw any energy before they swapped out. So I am now hoping that I can find a way for Sandslash and Toxicroak to somehow team up and beat this Whiscash. So what I've done here is I've saved my Cresselia because I know that that energy is going to be useful. I know also that my Sandslash can tank a Mud Bomb, and it can't tank 2 though, so I'm going to let it go. And what I've done here is I've forced them to bring out their Whiscash, and by doing so, I've also allowed myself to align it to my Cresselia yet again, throw these Grass Knots, force the shields off the opponent, and I'm hoping that I can just save the shield for my Toxicroak, and I can use my Toxicroak to finish this game. Very risky situation that I'm in, but I think it's the only play that I've gotten, so I'm trying to make it happen. My opponent is farming up a bit more energy here, and if I can save the shield for Toxicroak, I might even be able to counter down. My switch clock is up, so instead of getting farmed down, I swap out immediately. I'm going to shield this Mud Bomb. It will hurt, but it won't take me out even if I don't, but I would rather not be the one who ends up getting caught with my pants down by having to take an extra Mud Bomb. But I do have to take this Mud Bomb. Oh my god, it's so much damage, but because I had a little bit of HP left, I'm able to get to the Sludge Bomb. I had the Mud Bomb, but I couldn't remember how much damage that Abomasnow had. That's going to be a good game. Whew, well played to my opponent. That was a risky game there. All right, really great lead. You couldn't ask for better. Dragonite on the lead. So what I like to do here is I like to go up to 6 in case they try to catch my Ice Punch, and they catch. They usually catch on 5. So opponent must know me in my brain. So they come in with an Alolan Muck. I'm going to come in with my Toxicroak, and I'm going to commit to a full farm down here. My opponent's Muck has absolutely no moves that threaten to one-shot me or come close to it here. So after a full farm down, I will have almost 2 charge moves. And so at this point, my opponent has to fear a Sludge Bomb, because a Sludge Bomb would do a ton of damage to the Dragonite, doing just about all the damage that it's got, or HP that it's got left. So since they caught, they have a Dragon Claw loaded. I'm going to shield it because I know that I'm going to get a shield back here, but not only am I going to do that, I'm going to bait with Mud Bomb because I feel like I can get to another charge move. They shield the Mud Bomb, I have a Sludge Bomb loaded because of all the energy that I had from that farm down, and spoiler alert, they didn't shield, and they've got an Ariados in the back. You all can see where this is going. I am absolutely going to Future Sight this thing. But in order to do so, I'm going to have to come in with my Sandslash first. And so I'm going to try to get their shield with the Sandslash, and then I'm going to be a little bit of a BM kind of individual this game. And I'm just going to come in because I really, really, really wanted to Future Sight this thing. I love using Future Sight Crest. I feel like it's a very overlooked little secret in this in some of these metas. And as you guys have already seen, like I didn't curate most of these games. Like I picked games out of 3 sets out of this team, but like all of this actually happened. Like it's not like I'm just, you know, cherry picking some games. Like I literally took 3 sets with this team and I Future Sighted all this stuff and won some of these games that way. So well played to my opponent. The Ariados, they really didn't have much to do against Steel, to be honest, but another Whiscash lead. Cash Daddy, Cash Money is on the lead, and this is I think the one where I start to swap to catch. I know that I can't really catch. What I should be doing honestly is chipping with the Ice Punch. I think that would be the way to go because my opponents just about never actually throw on 5. And then they come with the Dragonair. I'm like, okay. So I'm going to go up to the Future Sight, but I'm going to bait with a Grass Knot. I feel like my opponent might be very likely to shield here, and they do. And now what that's going to allow me to do is get to that Future Sight a little bit closer, or a little bit less energy necessary because I baited. And the Body Slam is going to do some damage from Shadow Dragonair plus the Dragon Breath, but not quite going to be enough to KO here, so I am able to get to the Future Sight. I would have definitely thrown the Grass Knot if I didn't think I could get to it. I was going to get a shield either way because they were expecting a Moonblast, but because they just threw the Body Slam and I miscounted the Dragon Breath, so I was trying to overfarm just enough before they got to another one, but now I can overfarm even more, throw the Ice Punch into 0 shields, and be able to take out this Dragonair. And at this point, I'm also kind of wondering what my opponent is running in the back. They've got a Cash Money, comes back in. I have to shield this. I feel like my Sandslash might be somewhat usable here, especially because at this point, I can't really get it locked on my Toxicroak because they have a lot of energy. So I do have to shield this here. I'm going to go for the Drill Run. My Drill Run is going to connect, and me and my opponent CMP on the Ice Punch. They just got to their second Mud Bomb. Is this going to be enough to take out? Because if it's not, I'm kind of screwed. It does take it out by just a hair. My opponent's got a Dragonite in the back, and if that Ice Punch didn't KO, I lose, okay? So that was a very close game, but well played to my opponent. Going to take out that Dragonite and win the game. So this is the last game, actually. So we've got a Scrafty. You couldn't ask for a worse lead, dude. So I got to come with my Cresselia here. And I overtap by accident. But I'm coming with Cresselia. They swap out thinking that I've got Moonblast, which is fine by me because if I can somehow get Toxicroak on that Scrafty, I'm in good place right now. So I've played a lot of Pidgeots, right? And if they shield first, they're going to throw Feather Dance, which is fine. I know not to shield now. Now, the second move they throw, that's where the questions lie. I'm over farming on purpose, thinking they're going to throw the Brave Bird here, and I'm willing to shield like an idiot. I usually shield the second one because I'm like, all right, this might be the Brave Bird, but now I don't want to go over 100 energy, so I go ahead and I just throw the energy, and it really doesn't do a whole lot. So I'm going to go for the next one. This should be close to taking him out. And I don't know how much Brave Bird does off the top of my head, but I'm hoping maybe I live it with like 1 or 2 HP, but I don't. Unfortunately, Brave Bird does clap the cheeks off my Cresselia. They hard swap in the Scrafty. My opponent could have won this game. Absolutely. They had alignment. They had everything that they needed, but they swapped in hard like that, and that gave up switch and allowed my Toxicroak to come in and abuse this thing. Now, because I have enough HP left, my opponent's Pidgeot may or may not be able to get to a charge move. We're going to find out. It's very close. I don't know what they have in the back. I'm thinking it could be a Mud Boy. That's very common. My opponent's Pidgeot gets to a move just before getting countered down, and they go for the Feather Dance, of course. And I'm now debuffed, and I've got they have an Emolga in the back. So they're running a ABB Flyer team. I love Emolga. Y'all know that I played it in the very beginning of the season. It's a very fun mon. I don't know how much damage this discharge is going to do. My only way that I win this right now is this discharge is enough. Now, I think I threw that Mud Bomb because I was waiting on my switch clock, to be honest. The Ice Punch here, now, remember, I have to remember that the count for discharge is straight 5. So because I overfarmed by that by a little bit, Ice Punch is going to get there before the Emolga is going to be able to get to a move. And we're going to take it out. And the Pidgeot's gone, so we're good. That's a good game. Well played to my opponents. This team rocks. And if, like I said, you can use Buzzwole in place of Toxicroak to get rid of the ABA Mud Boy weakness, and you can use Bubble Jellicent in the back as a more well-rounded safe swap, I think, the way the Wen is currently going. So I already talked about the Patron and everything before. The little icon should be down here. If you're interested, check it out. Lots of interesting tiers and really awesome community and perks that you can get by signing up. So consider it. If it's in your budget, appreciate it either way. Even you just watching this video means the world to me. So thank you all so much for watching. We're going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.